What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Institutionalized Liam.
Today we're diving into The Institute, Season 1, Episode 5. Things are really starting to heat up. Now, if you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're tuning back in, welcome back. We are a show about shows. We are not experts. I have read the book. If you've read the book also, you know the show is taking some liberties and moving away from the original source content. I believe still doing a great job, but we're going to talk about it all as we dive in. So if you're just tuning in, the way you can support this channel is hitting that like button. If you want to continue the journey, hit subscribe. And if you got something to say, join us down in the comment section. We will always check it out and check back in with you, talk with you down there. Whether you agree with us, disagree with us, or you have your own opinions, the only thing we ask is that you do not spoil what is to come and that you just embark on this journey and embrace it as it happens with us. That is about it, and we're going to dive in.
So last episode, we left off with them Avesters going ahead and like, hey, I can see behind the door through Maureen's memory. And this episode, we continue on with what's behind the door and what the fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised at all, but fuck, it's exactly what we thought it was.
So we find out what the black smoke's been.
Yep, we had the feeling.
Yeah, we know what recovery is now.
Yep, squeezing those little bits. So I've been having this freaking thought in my head since watching it last night, and it's stuck with me because I'm not sure if they're considered batteries or more like capacitors, because capacitors, they've got a finite amount of charge and it just expels it until there's nothing left, right? Batteries, standard batteries aren't rechargeable, so could be a battery as well because you're just using up all the juice till it's no more and throwing them away. So, but capacitors reusable, so I guess batteries wins.
They are definitely using them as disposable.
Until there's not a drop left.
Correct. They are draining them for everything they are worth. Gork. They're called Gork.
The fuck's a Gork?
Someone who has used their mental capacity so much that they are now brainless. Like, they are just a battery. That's all they are. They're used to create the hum and amplify everyone else, but they have no other utility. Like, they can't even walk. They use the bathroom. They can't, like, do anything else for themselves anymore.
I want to understand more of the science behind why they go brain dead. Is draining from them. Are they losing their memories when they're taking over these people, or are they blending with everyone else till they become nothing? Was it white is literally all color added together, right?
Yeah. So it's hard to say. I don't want to speak too soon yet. The show's doing things differently, so I will speak too soon on, because I don't want to say what's in the book yet. Like, I don't want to go there.
Okay, so don't. But that's where my head is right now, is like, why are they being drained so much? Is it that's being drained out of them? What are they losing? And what are these people, the Institute, profiting from? Are they just making money on contracts to get these things done by corrupt politicians? What?
So let's take a look at the evidence we have so far on screen. We know that they are being trained for a mission of greater purpose. For what we have been told, it's literally the survival of humanity that they're being trained for.
But everything's been gaslighted.
Right.
So why not this?
What we've seen them execute is killing a Russian mobster, it looked like, or maybe a corrupt Russian diplomat. Definitely a corrupt Russian got killed.
Yeah.
By their direct actions on a sparkler night. Now, again, we haven't gotten all the information on back end yet, and so I don't want to go too far ahead. But what we do know is that only one person collectively executes the mission. Everyone else is amplifying that person.
And the one who executes the mission, the one who's awake, is the one who goes brain dead. Right. So it's when they've done it for quite some time and they've got almost nothing left, where they're like, all right, we're just going to use you all the way the fuck up because you know the flow of how things are supposed to be. You've been here long enough and you're going to control this shit till you're dead, essentially. Yeah. And then she has a seizure afterwards after the whole sparkler bullshit.
Yeah. It would appear that going through the movie watching process, whether it's Sparkler Night or not, takes a great toll on them and physically, to the point where they are receiving these headaches. They're excruciating. Point where they can't think straight, they can't eat straight, they can't eat straight. They can't eat. We've seen in previous episodes where they're dropping their cigarettes and their food, all these things are happening. That's a byproduct of watching these movies and the hum and the headache that they get from it. And so I would agree with you that when someone gets to the point where that's so bad that they're almost no longer of use, but then they use them up completely in the Sparkler Night. This is what we've seen so far on camera, right?
Yeah, and when she's having that whole little seizure thing, Tony is just like, and she's good.
Well, he even says to Maureen, nothing we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the same shit.
Yeah, so it's it seems to be that human beings have not yet progressed enough that we have mental abilities to the point where we could actually like hurt somebody or move a massive object, right? Like we just barely starting to unlock that. The testing that they're doing inside of the Institute in front half is unlocking and amplifying that just enough that in back half, if you bring enough of them together, you can actually do something with it. The problem is that putting them all together like that takes so much of their collective energy, it's actually draining them like a battery. And so just like a battery in a flashlight, every time you turn it on, less and less usage, less and less bright. And so as that dulls down, they have to constantly replace those batteries, which is why we see black smoke going up once a week. And we see that there's constantly a new person being brought into the recovery room and being the next, which is just a mindless person who's been through the Institute. And so one thing that we did notice though, and this is something that is not in the books, and I will just say only this about the books being different in this episode. We'll do a full difference recap later, but when Luke escapes through the recovery room, in what high security facility, evil facility, are you going to have a secret back entrance that leads to the most corrupt thing you do in the entire building? Directly to it. That to me just blew my mind. I'm like, really? There's a back door that leads directly outside from the infirmary where they're getting bodies?
See, I struggled with that also. The only way I rationalized it is they're worried about the people from the front half getting to the back half. So they would have had to go through all those checkpoints. That's where the security is involved. Then they're worried about the people outside the gates coming in. So leaving just that one section wouldn't be that big of a deal security-wise based on who they're trying to keep out.
I struggle with the idea of literally giving access, exit, or entrance to the most horrific section of the building that you currently look over. It's just a little baffling to me. But anyway.
I think it's exit only for those doors. You still need to come back in from the lock side, but on that side it was locked.
Still, that, I mean, again, part.
I know, as a security person, I absolutely
struggled with it.
This is the only way I could rationalize in my head to make it make sense for the story to continue on for me. Yeah. Otherwise, that just completely ruined it.
But let's go to something that was really awesome, not something that kind of we had to just kind of simple arm through it. But Avery got to really shine in this episode. You've got to see that the kid who was peeing himself when he first showed up is not necessarily the same kid we're dealing with now. Right. And his time with Luke is actually, and Nikki and the rest of the gang, has really given him some confidence that he didn't have before. In this episode, we actually got to see him use his ability to navigate Luke through a building and read other people's minds and like...
That was fucking cool.
What'd you think?
I thought that was really neat. I don't know how he could do that because he has to be spectating someone.
No, has not to be in the room anymore.
That's what it was? That's what I couldn't tie my head around.
In the series, the minute that he's able to talk to Shaw and see her through her eyes in the back lets us know that he can access anyone now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he saw through her eyes because I thought it was as they showed it on screen, like she's projection, she's just mentally seeing them in place in her physical reality where she is. That's why what's her name? Liz or something like that? The one that Ash dropped her cigarette in the food?
Iris.
Yeah. Thank you. Iris. She even questioned like, hey, who else is here with you? Like she knew, but wasn't quite on the same spectrum as them where she could fully realize.
They're different because they have telepathy. So like Sigsbee or Hendrix or Stackhouse are not going to have that same knowing or sensing as Shaw or Iris do. And to that same point, the level of like guided, I see through your eyes and you walk me through what's going on that's happening there is because there's a shared connection. If Avery was trying to do that with Sigsbee, he wouldn't be able to do the same level of connection. It's because Shaw's amplifying that because she also has that ability, just not on the level that Avery does.
Correct. Another piece I want to talk about is Nick and that whole, you're going to love this, you better show up. That whole thing.
Yep.
Like once he picked that fight, especially with Tony, and used Tony's taser to shock the door reader.
To the utility room, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, oh, you son of a bitch, you glorified you. I love how someone who has no true family was willing to sacrifice himself for them. That is a huge growth for that man.
Is it so strange to see though? especially coming from the military. It's those who had no home that when they find one, they'll do anything for it.
Yes, but I'm just drawing attention to that part.
Okay.
Is the fact that he was so proud of not having connection to anyone. Always craved it, but never had it. But right now, he got to the point where he truly has it and sees that in the rest of them. And you could see his pain at the beginning of the episode. I don't remember, was this one or the last one, where Luke is sitting there with Avery, and Avery is like, dude, can you stop thinking these thoughts?
Oh, and they're eating together. Yeah.
So I think that was the last episode.
Yeah.
But you could see the visual pain on Nikki's face when Luke was like, yeah, I'm doing my best not to picture her dead. He cringed.
Yeah.
He knew how bad Luke likes her and cares about her. And so he feels the same about her. So through that bond, I think that's what made this connection for him to self-sacrifice for this greater good.
Yeah. I think you all trauma bond, right?
Yeah.
People who have been through the same trauma as you, you're willing to, it's like a brother or sister to you.
So Luke also kind of annoyed me, but I understand why he did it. Luke went full cruel mode with Mo, with the son, Jake.
Yeah.
Luke, it felt like Luke went a little too far there with the manipulation, because he he said some things that she could convey in a very twisted way that made her feel extremely guilty about helping out. Yeah. I can see why he needs to do it, because he's like, for death right now, knows what's coming. Once you're in the back half, you're dead, unless something happens.
Yeah. I'm going to refrain from diving too deep into Maureen now, because I want to really dive into her in our after season show.
But we still get through the stuff where
I'll get there. When I saw that Luke was going to leverage guilt and her own children and like the sympathy of a child as the thing that gets her to risk her own life and do something with him, I was stunned, to be honest. She's so scared of Sigsbee and the Institute and what they can do and the reach they have and really just what they're capable of, that just the compassion for one kid, one time, who happens to be smart enough to say her son's name, makes her change her mind. That, for me, I struggle with. I do get that he was cruel to her in that moment because he's on his last leg, and he knows that. We'll talk about how Sigsbee used the death of his parents to trick him here in a minute, which puts him on his last leg.
And Mo used it also, because she didn't realize that they were still doing it, whether through willful ignorance or not. She acted as like, I thought we don't do this.
To Sigsbee.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she had no knowledge of it, because she's not part of the extraction teams.
As she said, she's a glorified janitor.
Yeah, what she is. She cleans up after them, changes their linens. But the giving him the thumb drive, helping him escape, helping, like, doing all the things that Maureen's doing are great.
What the fuck did you think as soon as she said, yeah, I know this reporter. Yeah, we know exactly which reporter, don't we? Yeah. It's going to be her.
Yeah.
It has to be.
The problem with that, though, is Tim. So I think Tim will be the reason that he doesn't go and talk to that reporter specifically.
So Tim went and borrowed the other cop's Jeep.
Yeah.
Went out to the site, had a conversation with the gate. He doesn't buy any of their shit. He pretended he was just hiking. And then he steals her Jeep later on.
Purposefully puts himself on their radar.
Yes. And then he tells her that if I was going to do it,
Stackhouse slipped up. Did you catch that?
When Stackhouse went to him
and slipped up.
Which way are you referring to?
So when Tim and Stackhouse are talking in that like old furniture depot, whatever, old furniture house, whatever it is, a furniture shop, he mentions to him that I have a friend who has a theory. And Stackhouse says to him, oh, I'd really like to meet her. And Tim clocks it, doesn't say anything, but Tim in his mind, I never mentioned who's her.
I caught the her part.
Yeah. So Tim automatically knows you're lying to me. You already killed her. You already know what's going on. Everything that I already was suspicious of is true. And now I'm diving deeper, which is why he immediately steals Wendy's car and takes off and goes back up to...
So I thought the reason he mentioned that woman, the
Orphan Annie,
when he mentioned that, I thought he was protecting Wendy, because they're the ones who've been discussing this as well currently.
And he's fallen in love with her, so he wants to protect her.
I still don't know whether she's just manipulating him or not.
Well, either way, he's fallen in love with her.
Yeah.
Just by the way he's touching her shoulder and like trying to comfort her and confiding in her, you can tell he's falling for her.
So we have Luke Luke getting through all those obstacles, getting to that end last door. And we also have Tim going back out there. I feel like they are going to cross paths, or maybe Tim's going to witness Luke being pulled back in.
So that's where I'm at too, and that's why I mentioned earlier that I don't think Tim will let him. Tim's very suspicious, very much more trained, much more cautious. And so there's a reason we have Tim heading up and him heading out. And I agree with you, one of two things is going to happen. Either Tim is going to witness a kid in distress being, detained and hauled back in and have confirmation that something really nefarious is happening. He's actually going to help Luke escape and get the real inside scoop on what's going on. And then if we can't let anything lie, he's going to do whatever, obviously that'll be the two sides battling, the Institute and then Tim.
He said it to Wendy too, which was a huge turn on for her, was when he's like, I can't just sit by and let something like this happen. I can't let bad things happen in front of me, to do something about it. And you could see it in her face, how she lit up, that excited her. So again, I don't know whether it excited her because she's got information that she could gain favor with the Institute with, or because she genuinely cares for him. That's where I'm at with that.
And they've set it up so well that we don't know who to trust, right?
Yes.
Anybody could be technically working for the secure, like for not Sigsby, but Sackhouse.
Sigsby also said something that fucked with my brain too about Tim.
Okay.
What if he was sent from the higher ups to
upstairs?
To go ahead and check us out, see how we're doing.
We know Sigsby answers to somebody, but she called him, right? So there's somebody else.
That dude's a great actor in B movies. I love him. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it's slipping my mind. But there is obviously a higher force than Sigsby. Sigsby just manages what we see.
Looking up his name because I watch Fire Country. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's such a good series.
We just finished From, which even we let the kids watch it. Which I told them, if you have nightmares, don't come sneaking into my room.
Jeff Fahey.
Can you show me a picture?
That's the higher up that she calls on the phone.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I know him from.
I knew just from the phone call before we ever saw him. He was in Lost. He was in
Lost. That's where I know him from.
He was in Lawnmower Man, Latia.
It's Lost how I know him.
So I'm excited to see what we're going to next. Again, we just left off with the cliffhanger of him escaping, which we know he can't stop right now, like episode 5, right?
Yeah. So we have Nikki's graduation to back end, which it's his first time back there. He goes to movie night. Movie night is actually Sparkler night. So they're actually telling him, basically like, strap in, don't
go for the ride,
don't resist it. This is going to be way worse for you because you're not used to it. And like Sigsby and Tony are both like there for that. They're enjoying that they're kind of getting their slightest of just desserts against him because they know that they're about to fry his brain, right? They know that all that defiance and that thing that makes him Nicky is about to get cooked out of him. Because when you see Nicky later in the episode, he's drooling on himself, like just head down drooling on himself. So, one of the things I know that Tony and Sigsby were very excited about was that the fact that Backend was going to tame him after, the fight we saw happen. So we still have George and Avery in front half. We now know that
one of the twins got skipped and went straight to recovery.
So she had a psychotic break.
Because of the separation of her twin. They said that happens when two psychic pairs are broken forcefully.
Yeah, and that's like legit. Her sister's dead. Harry's dead. And like we just said, like that knowledge broke her, and so now she's already in recovery, like you mentioned. Iris is in recovery,
like one of the batteries that came straight from Timu.
That's how they look at him. It's kind of crazy. And we also got confirmation in this episode what they're doing. They're basically getting orders from upstairs to use these children's abilities to basically hijack and ride along in someone's brain, whether they're, basically their everyday activities for a while. Like they said, like we were just checking up on patients and we were doing daily routines and brushing our teeth. But the next time we saw them on a Sparkler day, they were actually executing a plan. And so whether someone's paying for these things or it's a government or shadow ops, there's something nefarious altering history or altering the course of history using these kids and their abilities.
That's another issue I have with the show is the fact that they've got no budget. They're fighting over scraps for budget. What black budget did you know didn't have all this crazy ass funding? And that's if it's government. Let's say it's private sector.
It is.
They're even more going to be funded.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would be less likely to believe that the equipment is high tech, up to date, if it was actually government, because we all know what it means to have government issue, military issue things are not military intelligence. I was not. And so the shit I got did not always work. It was not always great. Might have been different experience for you.
Very different, yeah.
But
we got all the toys. As long as we could justify why we needed to get mission success,
yeah,
great, write it up.
Yeah,
we'll get it.
Very excited. I will say this episode I struggled with a bit. I like where it's going. I'm excited to see how the season ends. I do believe that they're doing something different in the series than they did in the book that will allow for MGM to continue this for another season if they wanted to. The end credits of the novel itself does allow you to expand your mind and see more, but will it be enough to ultimately have a second season? I don't know. And I'm just excited to see where it goes. And then when we're done, to do a book and TV comparison, because I think that's really going to be a fun episode to do.
I'm going to have to speed read it then, huh?
If you want. Or you can be the show and I can be the book and we can compare it out however you want to do it.
All right.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we have a bunch of videos right here for you to check out so you can continue on the journey with us. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this and hit subscribe if you want to keep joining us. We'll see you later. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.